Right. So it looks like Mark's in prison. So there's a bit of housekeeping, just so you know. I'm in Rochford, in our heavy rotation studios. Mark's at his gaff, in where he records most of the vocals, and he's actually in. Well, you explain it, Mark. Where are you at the moment?
I don't know.
What are you in?
Yeah, I'm in my vocal booth.
So here we are. So we're hoping to do a little Q&A with you. With quite a few people have actually sent some questions in. So we're very grateful that you've actually sent some stuff through. You know, we had a few questions that people have asked us over time and stuff, and we were going to answer those things anyway. But people have been very generous and actually asked lots of very nice questions. So we're going to answer the questions as we run through. We might have a little treat for you later, a little mini preview of something that we're working on at the moment. We'll see how that goes. We'll see how that goes later on. Marco,
yes,
are you all right there?
I am. Yeah. Adam asked if there's an album in the offing. He also asked, what else did he ask? 2 questions, wasn't it? Do you remember?
All right. Well, we'll start with the album. Adam, hi. Hope you're watching. If not now, then on catch up, because it'll be on Facebook. Hello. If an album, yeah. It's all a bit weird these days, Adam. To be honest, with the whole Spotify thing, because we just end up releasing singles, and everything we release ends up as a single. So it's not like we've got lots of things up our sleeve, but whether we actually put it out as an album or not, I'm sure it will eventually, but I'm not sure it's actually going to be that different to the population of the singles that we release, wouldn't it, Mark? I think.
Yeah, I mean, basically everything we get ready that we finish working on, we stick out. So obviously when we got enough stuff together, we could compile it together and call it an album. But yeah, basically you're not going to miss out on anything, because anything we actually get finished, we just stick on Spotify, YouTube, and all the other digital channels, really. So
and if you're talking, perhaps Adam's talking about, I don't know, maybe an actual physical release, something like that in the future, is feasible, but it's quite pricey. And we'd need to actually balance, you know, whether we actually. I'd love it. I think it'd be great to actually release a CD or something, but it's a lot of money to release it, and you obviously have to have what I call a minimum run, a minimum amount of actual CDs and artwork and stuff that you release. And I'm not sure at this stage if
there's options. That I know a lot of independent people, you know, do sort of crowdfunding, whereas, you know, people actually undertake, they're actually going to buy it. You know, they pay up a little bit of money in advance until we've got enough to actually produce, you know, actually release something. But we'd have to know if there was enough interest out there, really.
Yeah. And we're on the subject of the Spotify and the other bits and pieces. Oh, Mark's gone. Mark will be back in a minute, but I'll just go on randomly by myself at the moment. We keep saying on the Facebook page, we keep promoting the different ways you can watch listen to the music, or watch us if you go on YouTube, you can view it. There are so many different ways to access the music, but people get a little bit confused by Spotify in particular and the other streaming sites, and we have lots of technical questions like, oh, I've clicked on the Spotify link and it's just playing 30 seconds of it. Just as a little guide to it, yeah, hopefully a lot of people are in the know about it, but things like Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, Amazon do music now, Google do music. All these things are subscription based, so you'd have to pay probably about 10 quid a month for the subscription. They're all great, they're all fantastic, because you can just listen to as much music as you like over time, and they've got hundreds of thousands of songs on there, potentially millions of songs, all the albums you would like, all the albums you know. It's great, and we're on there, and you would get us as part of the subscription, so you could play along as much as you liked. Play us as much as you liked in between all your other fave bands. But if you've not got a subscription, if you're not paying that money, then don't click on it. You'll only get a 30-second snippet at most, and then you'll get a bunch of adverts, and then you'll get the new Taylor Swift album. There's nothing wrong with a new Taylor Swift album, by the way, but it's just not Lakonik. So if that's what you're, if you want to listen to us, the easiest, quickest way is to get on YouTube. We've got all the links on our pages. YouTube, you might have to put up with an advert while it's on, but then it will just be like a still of the album sleeve, and we'll be there, and you can listen to us, and it's effectively free. The weird thing is behind the scenes as well, from a music industry point of view, that musicians generally don't make much money from Spotify. They and the other streaming ones. We do seem to make some sort of money from YouTube. So I'm more inclined to push YouTube these days than Spotify, etc. So that's a little tip for life for you. I know people struggle with the bits and pieces that we put out, and the technical side, and that's fine, because not everyone's technically minded, not everyone's got these services. But when we say Spotify, when we say Amazon Music, don't click on it unless you've got an account with them. Otherwise, you won't get the bits. But on the subject of Amazon and a few of the other online things, you can actually go to Amazon.co.uk. If you search us up, you can actually buy the song as an MP3. I think it's 99p, and then it's yours to own. You can play it as much as you like. So there's a little tip for life there. If you want if you want to actually own the music and put 99p, and for our own selfish point, we actually get to it. So how are you?
I'm good.
He's back. That's better. What's happened there? It was kind of distorting when you were saying stuff. It was really weird. Question. Phil Thomas has weighed in. Phil Thomas is watching us. He says that's better. So what? I don't think he fixed it on purpose, Phil. I think it was all accidental, but he seems to have fixed the problem. So right, Karen Flowers Martini is on, and she says yeah, so she can hear us, and Phil says he can hear us both. So we've got an audience of at least two there, Mark. Oh, you look better now.
Yeah, I've moved. Yeah. You've answered Adam's point then, really, haven't you?
We went off into something a bit different about it, yeah. So,
okay.
If you recall another question, fire away.
I can recall questions after asking the right things. Actually, yeah, Lloyd from Catford asked if we could work with any producer, who would we choose to work with?
Right. Do you want to go first?
You want another question?
I know there's a couple. We do keep up with current trends. We really do. But we're probably 80s, 90s boys at heart. And we listen to quite different things. I'm a bit more sort of poppy type stuff, and I think Mark appreciates that as well. Mark's taste, he'll probably tell you about himself, is probably a bit more eclectic than mine. But where we kind of cross over, there's a producer called Warren Livesey or Livesey.
Do you like him?
He's produced Julian Cope, which is one of Mark's faves, and he's also produced which is fave of both of us. So if you ever get a chance, listen to an album called Infected by and what's the Julian album? Is it St. Julian?
Yeah, I think it was that one. Yeah. It's just
he produced that. He's got a very particular sound, and it resonates with both of us. I think that level of production. I don't know if he's doing anything recently. I'm not even sure he's still with us. I've not heard anything in the last probably 5-10 years, something like that. But Warren Livesey would definitely be a choice. Another one that I would suggest would possibly be Flood, who again produced lots of stuff in the 80s going into the 90s. A bit heavier, a bit rockier, but he also worked with U2 as well, didn't he?
Yeah, but they're both they bring out good textures in sound. You know, it's not, you know, it really put a lot of attention into detail. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. That's my thought as well. It's I don't think we do too bad with the old production, the old production side. So doing it ourselves, it's that tiny attention to detail, and as Mark said, bringing out the little bits and pieces of it that the tiny little elements of it that makes all the difference, I think.
And possibly if you got to use someone like that studio, you'd have, you know, a lot more sonic, much more of a playground, really. Choice of amps and guitars and live drums and things.
Yeah, exactly.
But
So
we do all right. We do all right for two old boys. You know,
we do, and that's a little question that keeps coming up from the different people have asked, and that's a good little segue there, Mark. We finally got a bit professional because separately to this, and at the end we'll put up the link for it on YouTube. People keep asking how come the two of us can make such a big sound, such a racket when it's just the two of us. So I've done a separate little video we'll put up on YouTube at the end.
Carl, just was going to say, it might also answer a couple of points that someone, Tanya from the future, she works in IT. She asked, under the current coronavirus lockdown, how do we jam? I mean, we've never kind of, you know, when we were like 4 or 5 piece, we sort of jammed, but we tend to sort of just send ideas backwards and forwards to one another. So it doesn't really matter if we're miles away, and we do use technology for that. Yeah. So it hasn't made much difference to us in the way we work, because we've always kind of worked in that method. I mean, you know, we'll send tracks backwards and forwards to one another maybe about 9 or 10 times over the course of the, you know, when we're doing a track. Because it's great when I can get to Glenn's studio, the studio, which is located, you know, at Glenn's basically. But I've got my own gear here and quite often record guitars and vocals and send tracks over. So, but sorry, I've interrupted you, Glenn. I don't know what your train of thought was.
No, that's right. I think that's an interesting point, actually, because I saw that question when it came through, and it's a bit weird because we're not a jam band as such. I think we work very different ways. I just chuck the first piece of stuff that I've worked out. I'll just stick it down on a recording on the new song Try Us. There's a little Telecaster guitar bit on there which I think we both quite like, but it was a one take wonder. It's just I'll do it in one take, whereas Mark is much more methodical and he'll build up the parts a lot more thoughtfully than I ever will, because I just get bored with it, just playing it over and over again. And I'm not really a jammer. I like the vibe of stuff, but I get a bit bored after a while, and I just want to get it recorded and get something down on tape. So we work very differently in that way, but I think you're a bit of a night owl as well, aren't you? You'll work on it through the night, and let's get stuff done.
It's okay for instruments, you know. When I've got to sing, I've got a family and stuff, and normally have to wait for them to go to bed before I can even, you know, start, you know, so I don't get people saying "Dad" in the middle of it. So yeah.
I just I can't remember what the original question was. I mean, it was about the jamming, wasn't it? So have we covered that? This, as Mark said, this is how we work anyway. In fact, at the moment, I'm probably more productive than normal with it, because you know, we're just hanging around waiting to go out a lot of the time, and we have for our little walk around the block or whatever we do, or drive to the off license. But you know, we're all kind of
essential
essential shopping. So yeah, to answer it really, this is how we work anyway. This is how we work, because it's the two of us, you know. It's how it goes. There's a question that's coming, Mark, from someone called Karen Flowers Matini. I don't know, no relation. I don't know. But she's asking, over the years you've worked with other musicians. Any possible collaborations coming up? Any possible collaborations coming up, Mark?
Nothing planned. I'd say, we work very well as a duo, but certainly not, not averse to the idea of working with a singer or a drummer, and certainly if we did do this live, we would need some more musicians, because there's no way. I mean, some tracks Glenn and I will both play bass, and we'd have to throw it between one another. Other tracks, Glenn will be playing, there's organ, piano, and guitar on there that he might be playing, or I'm playing bass and guitar, and you can't do it all between us live. We'd have to.
Some songs as well have got like City. The particularly last bit of City has got a full-on string section and a brass section in there, and I have contacted the London Philharmonic Orchestra, but their rates are astronomical. So again, we'd have to justify the cost for it to actually take an orchestra on the road. I'm not sure that would be feasible. Well, we can still do a cut.
Have to go through Honey, I Shrunk the Kids to fit in the studio, which is shit. So
yeah, and I think we did a little thing last summer, a little acoustic thing, which was a bit off the cuff, and we had a friend of ours, another Mark Smith, who played bass for us, and it was great. It was really good fun to just play with someone else. Whether we were to expand that out, it would be tricky, and it's not the top list. But there's another little thing about that as well, which
supply and demand.
One of my former bands, there's a drummer out there called Andy Fuller, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and through the magic of technology, I think he lives in Wisconsin in the States now. But through the magic of technology, I've sent him over a version of one of our releases, and there's been some talk about him adding a live drum track to it, which would be a good experiment, because it will all be done remotely. It'll all be done through technology, but it will be live drums. And as you'll see on that YouTube video, at the moment we're using other means to get drums and percussion, mixing it in with live sounds, which works well. But that's
pretty
potential. There's potential for that. We're collaboration if someone wants to do something. Is where I am. Phil Thomas has said "Dad!" exclamation mark, laughing face. Was someone shouting at Dad at some point?
No, I just said that the reason I record my vocals at night is to avoid being interrupted.
Yeah.
Trying to think of some more questions.
I'm just having a scroll through as well. Wasn't one of Adam's questions about who's the real genius in the band?
Oh yes.
It could be anyone. It could be either.
To be honest, I think the thing is we both kind of are good at supplementing the other. We work really well together. Basically, I think we inspire one another kind of musically, really, because I'll come up with just the guitar part of track what Glenn's working on needs, or he'll come up, with similar thing, like or string arrangement or a harmony or something, and it's, I think we're better, better than the sum of the parts. I think really, we and also we don't, we sometimes, like Glenn said, we listen to different things. We come at it from a different perspective. So sometimes the way you envisage a track going, it ends up going somewhere else because because of that other element, really. But it is a real genuine. It's a real 50-50 thing, really. Even if one of us has got the bones of a song and melody, chords, and everything, it was the other person will always add some magic that will take it to another place. So
I'm not sure we trust ourselves. Excuse me. I'm not sure we trust ourselves to actually finish a whole song by ourselves. I think we prefer to bounce things off each other rather than just try and complete a song.
Yeah.
So there's always an element of it. It's very different. I mean, I can throw some files across the mark with stuff that I've been tinkering around with, and I know that he'll come back with amazing guitar parts, perhaps 3 or 4 of them, or whatever, that I can drop into it, or you know, a little keyboard meandering or a piano bit or something, and obviously the vocals come separately most of the time as well on top of that. But I know Mark can do that, and it's the trust in each other that makes it work. So I think we're both geniuses to answer that question. I'm not going to lie. So I hope that answers that.
Can you see who's watching us, Glenn? Because you've got the control centre there.
I can't see who's watching, but I don't want to go on the Facebook thing because it kind of interferes with it. But oh my God, people are asking questions. People are asking questions on the fly as well. So this is this is great. Thank you so much. Right, not my sister, but someone called Karen Flowers Matini or whatever it is. It keeps asking about videos. Are we going to do videos for any of the songs? That's one for you, Mark. I'm done.
I think it's another case of if someone's out there, someone knows somebody that, you know, could do a music video, or somebody even that is studying filmmaking or something and wants a project, you know, up for it. Definitely. You know, we're not, we're busy enough doing the music. So it's kind of, it would be useful to have another person, you know, that wants to do that and you know, benefit both parties really.
We rely on the goodwill of people out there who want to collaborate and want to do stuff with us, you know. And in the studio here, you know, we spend a lot of time working on the music side of it, and you know, if people want to collaborate, want to do stuff in the studio with us or whatever, that's all great. If people want to do videos with us, that'd be fantastic. It's if people ask for huge amounts of money to do videos with us, that'd be a bit more of a challenge. I think that, you know, we're happy to collaborate. So Phil's got a question. How many instruments do you play between you? Anything unusual?
Glenn, you've recently taught yourself sax, which is a departure, isn't it?
Yeah. Saxophone is an ongoing project. It's behind. No, it's not. It's behind there, isn't it? It's just sitting behind. I mean, I like the idea of trying to use live instruments as much as we can when we do the recording. And it was a little treat to myself getting them for a couple of years ago now to get a saxophone and force myself, sort of self-teach to how to play it. It's still a bit parrot fashion the way I do it. So for Try Us, the sax in that, it was just trial and error. Just keep playing it over and over until my fingers couldn't play any other notes with it. So it's very different to guitar. It's very to me, it's very difficult to play and to master it. So I'll get there in the end. But I mean, we both play guitar. I just like resting on the bass guitar while I'm playing, but I've never really played bass guitar, but I got bass last year, I think, and I like a little play with that. So some of the bass that's gone on my recent songs is my bass, but Mark equally has all the gear and plays a lot of bass. In terms of level of guitar, I like a strum on a guitar, but I'd say I'm just more of a rhythm guitarist, whereas Mark can play virtually anything really. Mark is the better guitarist by far than me. I'd hold my own, but I wouldn't say we're at the same level. Again, it's like yin and yang.
Different styles. I think your stuff on What You See Is What You Get was really good. The riffing.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing, in fairness. But
I don't think either of us know how you did that kind of that bit in Try Us. That sounds like you fell on your guitar.
Well, yeah. Talking of which, it's time that we use that for our jingle, which we've not had for a little while. So.
Lakonik's lockdown lock-in.
the listeners are going up and they're not leaving. There's yeah, we've got 7 of us.
Welcome back. You're probably taking one look at me and thinking, I can't leave this guy alone. I've got to stick. And the guy in prison as well. He's got to be on there as well. So so great question, Phil. I don't know how many instruments we play because we'll have a go at anything really, won't we? What we've got here.
Well, there was,
I don't want to turn the laptop around or anything, but in the studio here, I've got an acoustic guitar, which is a Washburn. I've got a Telecaster electric guitar. I've got a bass, which is one of these Harley Benton ones, but it's like a Jazzmaster copy. I've got bongos in here. I've got saxophone in here. A lot of the stuff's done on the keyboard through the computer. That's coming up on the video later, so you'll see how much stuff is done there. And we've had a harp and a harmonica or two in the past as well, haven't we? It's what we do. Mark's voice, loads of guitars. Mark, I've got an acoustic guitar, but I think on tryouts, Mark ended up playing the acoustic on it because it needed better rhythm than I could actually do on it. So,
would you?
I ordered this set of bongos when we were doing the acoustic version of What You See Is What You Get, and I got them off eBay, and they looked a lot bigger on eBay. And when I actually got them,
they're more
Cindy. They actually look bigger there. Like if I put my hand there, you'll see they're quite tinny. They make quite a tinny sound. They're not what we were expecting. So we'll give everything a try. If we can't play it ourselves, then there's something electronic that will do a version of it for us. So hope that answers your question. You got any of the other ones? Any of the other questions?
Well, no, I can't see them without streaming through. What did after Adam there was Lucinda? What did she? Someone asked how long we've been around, but I don't know.
Donkeys.
As Lakonik, about a year.
Neil from I can't remember where Neil was from. He's from Southend, I think, isn't he?
He was. So he may be in Thailand or somewhere now. I don't know, but he was Southend. So
I've just pulled his question up. Hi guys. How do you feel your music has changed over the years, and do the musicians who influenced you in the early years still carry weight today? That's a great question. That's a brilliant question, Neil. Mark is going to answer it. Well, I think.
I would say when we started out all those years back in other bands, personally, I think we like to certain types of music. We're probably closed off to some other stuff. We're probably into quite 80s stuff that we grew up with, and wasn't really interested in anything sort of earlier 70s stuff or anything like that so much. Shy of doing guitar solos and things like that. Thought it was a bit No, there's fans I used to hate, and now I've got a sort of grudging respect for. Even like Queen and somebody. You couldn't used to stand them, but quite appreciate them now. Yeah, and there's unconscious influences as well. You think there's certainly people we know we're influenced by, but then people tell you what you sound like when your track goes out, and we're like, really? Roxy Music? What?
Yeah. We got a lot of that with Trios. So there was some 70s things in there. It sounded a bit Tony Visconti, the production of it. It was Bowie's producer, among others. It's weird when people say things that come left field. It's so welcome because we don't expect it. We don't know what people are hearing at the other end of it. How the music has changed is really interesting because a lot of the stuff we're doing at the moment is from a long time ago. We've got some new songs in the pipeline, brand new songs, but a lot of this stuff we were doing years and years ago. So we basically revisited it. I don't know, perhaps one day we'll think about putting out some of the very old stuff, and you'll hear how things have changed. I don't know how much they've changed though. They have changed because the versions now have got a whole new guitar bits and everything. A lot of the chord structures are the same.
Yeah.
There's a new one we're working on now, which hopefully we'll get to hear a snippet of at some point tonight. And it's kind of peed Mark off a bit because I actually changed the chord structure, which is buggered up with his guitar bit they used to do on it. So, but I think it just encourages more creativity to change things around and mix it up a bit. So,
Yeah,
so yeah. So that's it. So it has changed over the years, but I think only other people could really tell us how much it's changed. And the musicians who influenced, yeah, because we're both 80s boys at heart. I think a lot of the early influences are probably very similar. Still,
I just think maybe we're less precious about it now. We'll yeah. We won't worry about what people think if we put that in or this in. It's just what sounds good, whatever serves the song, really. So,
I think when our original set list, sorry, just Neil's got a question on there that he's obviously watching. We'll come to that in a minute. I think other people would have to judge how much the songs have changed over the years. To be honest with that one, but when we were listening originally, I wrote probably a dozen songs, and I was listening to some dead gothic stuff like Sisters of Mercy and stuff like that. And I don't think the songs actually sound that much like that, but that was the sort of stuff I was listening to at the time, and it was all very dum 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 type stuff. And certainly the way they've ended up now is very different. A lot more instrumental variety. So we'd have to put out some of the early stuff and compare and contrast, I think. Right, Mark, this Karen, was it Flowers or Flowers? I don't know. Matini. Excuse me. What is your favourite song of all the songs you've produced over the years? To both of us. And will you bring some of the older stuff back? Well, we probably already addressed that one, haven't we? What's your favourite?
The one I'm currently working on. Usually, it's like
yeah. Most of the stuff we're doing at the moment, the stuff that we've released, is stuff that we were doing years ago. So we've kind of covered that as we said about a while ago. So there's new stuff on the way, brand new stuff, but a lot of the stuff now it's older songs just completely redone, and yeah, we'll be bringing the older stuff back, but we won't bring it back as it was then. We're treating it as kind of just like a template to hang all sorts of new bits of underwear on.
What was your favourite, Karen? What was your favourite? Put it in the comments.
Yeah, Karen, if you can remember any of the old songs, what was your favourite? There's a couple of ours. One was a guitar bit that always stuck in my mind, and it was the guitar riffy bit from "What You See Is What You Get," which it's always one of those things. When I pick up a guitar, it's what I've always played. So What You See was sort of the first proper song that we did, just because that song for me stuck that the down that riff bit's kind of stuck in my mind over the years, and it was one of the reasons why. So that's always been a favourite. And there's another one which is completely different called Mother's Day, which has had some great guitar in it and some other great little bits. It was very sample heavy, very late 80s, early 90s, all the samples in it. But listen out, kids, because it might be coming back. That's all I'm saying. But without the samples, due to copyright issues.
Unless we're going to have a quiet word with Susie soon. Feel okay. Yeah.
Neil has asked another question. Hello all. Hi Neil. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks to everyone for tuning in, by the way. I don't know. I don't know how many people are tuning in now, but
It peaked at 9. We're at 8.
I'm guessing it's in the millions at this stage. Hi Neil, thank you. Neil, are you in Southend? Because I thought you were in Southend. I'm not sure. Perhaps I should say Essex. Yeah, whatever. Hi Neil. Have you ever played at the Working Men's Club? If not, would you?
Which Working Men's Club?
Which Working Men's Club? Yeah, I would. I'd do an acoustic set or something. I'd do an acoustic strum. What's the money like? Put a contract under my nose. I'll read through it. There we go. Yeah, when we say about doing gigs and stuff, it would be a lot easier for us to just rehearse through an acoustic show than any other sort of show. So the answer is yes. Yes, Neil, we would.
Yeah.
But we'd have to negotiate terms.
Yeah.
And a rider.
And it's supply and demand. If one day, there's a lot of people want to hear us, then we might look at putting a band together to play something. But yeah, acoustic's good fun.
Yeah, take it back to I was talking of which, Leighton Jennings has weighed in.
Hey,
the Jennings Meister. Incidentally, thank you, Leighton, for your little comment on our thing. And when the world is back up and running, I've not had the opportunity to play any, but Leighton's Guitar Workshop seems to make some very fine guitars out of some very fine materials. So I would suggest when he's up and running, check Leighton's Guitar Workshop out. Check out his Facebook page. He always puts the projects he's working on there. I find it fascinating. So thanks, Leighton, for following. And here's Leighton's question. Your early 90s gigs were notable for their nudity.
One gig.
Any plans to revive that thing? And when is the Joyride EP going to get a vinyl reissue? Mark, over to you, my friend.
Nudity. Yeah, no, that was a protest strip.
Right.
We were headlining a multi-band night, and everyone was overrunning. And we didn't think anything of it really, but then by the time we came on, we only got to play about 3 songs, and then the lights came on and they tried to turn our sound off. So we carried on sort of acoustically with the stuff unplugged and singing to the front of the crowd and them singing back. And then I stripped off, put a balloon over my privates, and then popped it on the way off. And we were banned from the Grand Hotel for that act.
It was a really small balloon as well, wasn't it?
But they forgot who exactly they'd banned, so we got some more gigs there after that. But no plans to do that again. It's
as for the Joyride EP, Leighton, but believe it or not, I've been playing around because we've still got the tapes, and I've got the hardware and software to do it. So I've been playing around with the original tapes recently, and put them into proper Muso tool, but proper WAV files, and running them through the mixing desk properly to potentially update them. So I don't know if we'll get a vinyl reissue, but we'll certainly get a higher quality version of the songs. Whether we'll actually release them as they are or not, I don't know, because they were so full of samples, as I said earlier. It would be a legal nightmare if you want to represent us later on the legal front to get it all cleared. But we could put them out. There was a lot of technically they were great. Technically the EP, the demo was great, and it was of its time. But I don't know, probably not these days. Anything else? You can think of any other questions, Mark, we were asked?
No, what I'm going to do, though, if there's people's questions we've missed out that haven't been covered anyway, I think we'll make sure we address them next time we do one of these, really. I can think of just some really quick ones like, are you both vegans? No, I am. But
I'm not.
That's an easy question to answer.
Could be. I've not had my dinner yet. But Yeah, yeah, I could. No, I'm not. No, at all. I'll eat anything. I'll eat Mark if I was hungry enough. Not in one sitting.
He's tried as well.
It's quite chewy. Just as an aside, Luis Carlos Ferreira likes our event. It's just come up on the feed here, so I don't know if he's actually watching at the moment, but I believe he's from overseas. I believe he's in France, so I hope you keep him well. Luis Carlos. Sorry if I pronounced it wrong, but bonsoir, bienvenue, and stay safe. Stay safe en français, my friend. So Julie from West Wickham also asked. She asked a vegan thing. Julia. Where do you practice the most? Interesting question, really, isn't it? Because we don't practice.
Well, practice what I need to be doing, basically. If I trying to come up with a guitar part, I'll practice that song, and yeah, and same as singing. I'll sing in the car, sing in the shower, stick my headphones on and play the song through and practice that way. Really.
Yeah. I'll practice the individual bits that we've got to play for the songs. But to be honest, if you ask me to play one of the songs we've already recorded now, I'd need half an hour to practice it again, because practicing kind of is more for when you're doing live shows, and as yet we're not doing live shows, so I don't really practice a great deal. I just wing it. To be honest. We've had the producer one. Who was that from?
There was one about influences. We kind of touched on it. We didn't actually name bands, I suppose, but
yeah. All right. Who was this? From Lucinda. Lucinda from Orpington. Hi, Mark. Oh yeah. Can you tell me a bit about how your band formed and who your biggest influences have been? How did we form?
What, this time round? It was just a case of together.
Back in time there, guys.
Back in time, we were thrown together in a employment situation. We were both working at a record shop.
Yeah.
In Essex, in Wickford. Glenn was already in a band. 20,000 innings. And kind of left with the singer and needed a guitarist, and I think that's how it went. Another take on it.
We were very young. Lucinda, very naive. We dressed in black a lot. I think I was working at Adrian's.
Yeah.
17 till 19, so it's probably about 18 when I met you.
Yeah.
So about 10 years ago, Lucinda. Yeah. And that was it. That was the story. That's how we got together. But we've been in lots of bands, haven't we? It's always just ended up with the two of us. And we took a massive break off for years, really, while family and stuff got in the way. So this is all very romantic, this thing now, but it's only really been going on for the last 2 and a bit years, something like that, where we've probably got back into it. There were technical limitations as well, to be honest. You need a bit of technology to get this stuff underway, but nothing like back in the old days.
Yeah. Now we've got use the same program, so it's easy, because what Glenn sends me, it appears on my computer like it does on his, and vice versa.
Yeah. And technology has changed, though. It used to cost thousands just to try and record something. Now it's all here. We could record a song tonight on the fly. It wouldn't cost anything, and we could upload it to all the music things. It would just cost pennies to do that. So I think things have changed greatly.
But the other side of that is it's harder to make any money at it, isn't it, I suppose? Yeah,
exactly. Everyone's doing it. So it makes it a little bit more tricky to
their music for free. So yeah.
I'm just having a quick look, see if there's any others.
The numbers are slightly dropping, so we may have bored people a bit.
Yeah, I think so. Arlene from Petswood.
Oh yeah.
Short / long-term goals and hopes for Lakonik? Mark.
Thanks. I really like the music we make. I think when people hear it, a lot of people will like it too. It's just a case of getting it out there, really. So please, all of you, share. Like Glenn said earlier, subscribe, follow, do all that. It's quite exciting. So we got a radio play tomorrow. I think we mentioned it obviously on Facebook and stuff.
Yeah, apologies to Paul
Dupre. Yep, his show, Transmission, it's called, and it's on between 8:30 and 10 tomorrow, and we are assured to be played on that. So if you'd like to hear us played on the radio, you don't have to live in Chelmsford. You can obviously use an online radio app or go to their website, which is probably something as simple as www.chelmsfordcommunityradio or something.
Yeah. Interestingly, for people who've got the technology for it, you can ask your device to just play Chelmsford Community Radio, your smart speaker, as they say, and it will just tune into it. I tried that the other day and listened to it for half an hour. The fact that Paul's doing this massive favour to be playing it. Apparently, Chelmsford Community Radio need all the help they can get with these. Even before these difficult times, they need all the help they can get. So listen, and if you go find them on the World Wide Web, I think there are ways you can actually contribute a couple of quid just to keep them going as well. So.
There's a donate page on their website. So because I think they need so much money to they're counting the days, that they can carry on at the moment.
Yeah. So. Good luck to them, and many thanks to Paul for playing it. Let's just have a quick.
Lakonik's lockdown lock-in.
It makes sense, doesn't you? Well, I think that's probably it for the questions at the moment. Have we got time for a quick tune, Marco?
I'll give you a little teaser.
I bet you will, but have we got time for a tune?
I knew you'd say that. You humans. Let me just see if the guitar's in tune.
Right, watch this, guys. This is.
Don't oversell it.
Oh no, I've got the wrong one.
Yeah, I could give you a verse and a chorus of the new song. It won't sound anything like this because this is an acoustic guitar, and that won't be on the new track. But I feel a bit anxious now. Let's have a go. Good Mother's Day. Can you hear that? Mother's Day, and the sky won't come away. For the truth I say, oh, I'm sorry, got the wrong. Truth I say, I'm looking for pay. I believe in what we were, and what we are today. Another day. Sorry, I forgot the words.
do, isn't it?
I haven't done a chorus yet. When the words I say will help the games we play. I believe in what was there, but that was long ago. Come on, come on, let me be what I need to be. Come on, come on, love, help me to be. Sorry, that was an awful version.
It's all right. It's just a little tease. It is really. It's just a little tease. So well done, Marco. Well done, everyone. And what I'm going to do is just put the link on YouTube for. I don't know if it's not really a muso thing. It's not really a not muso thing. It's just a bit talking about how we. We do some of the. How we create the magic, isn't it? Really, how we put these songs together and everything. So give it a view if you want, or not. Enjoy, and that's it, I think. So thank you very much.
Yep. As I say, quick reminder again: tune into Chelmsford Community Radio tomorrow to listen to us on the radio, which is exciting. We'll do another one of these another time when we try and be a bit more organised. I will any questions that didn't get answered tonight, I'll jot down so we do answer them first next time. And yeah, let us know in your comments what you thought. Any questions you've got, more questions, then yeah, put them in the comments.
Thank you to everyone who's watched it. Thank you to everyone who's asked us questions as well. If we missed anyone, sorry, but I don't think we expected quite so many questions. But thank you. We keep saying it, but when we say please like and share, if you like, don't just like. Click the like button, please, because then all your people on your pages on Facebook, they'll see that you like it, and it kind of helps spread the word. If you're feeling extra generous, please share as well, because then all your people will see that not only do you like it, but you want to show them it as well.
Yeah.
It might not seem like much, but it's great that you like it. But people always ask us about how best to spread the word and all that stuff. Social media, you've got to like and share. You've got to show other people how to do it. So please, if you like it and share it by clicking on it.
Yeah.
Right, I'm just sharing that link now. That's on YouTube, so that's a bit of me yakety yakking. But otherwise, I think we're done within an hour as well. On time and always delivering. Should we have just one more of this? Because I've been getting lots of private messages saying this is people's favourite bit. Hang on.
Lakonik's lockdown, lock in.
Yeah.
Everyone, bye for now.
All right. Thank you very much. See you.